Welcome to another edition of WrenchWay Weekly, where we talk about the industry's hot topics, highlight the voice of technicians, and educate shops and dealerships to help improve the industry. The topic for this week was, how does having to work weekends affect your decision to work at a shop? I was really interested to see what would come of this one because I think there's a lot of varying opinions, and we kind of saw that in the results from our insiders. We gave three options. And those three options were: I won't work at a shop where weekends are required, I'm willing to work weekends for the right incentives, and it doesn't bother me to work weekends. And what we saw for a breakdown was that about 38% would not work on weekends. So if you have a shop and you're requiring that your people work weekends, you're cutting out 38% of the technician population as we polled it. 42% said that if the right incentives were in place, that they would work on weekends. And the remaining 20% said it didn't bother them whether they worked or not. So I think when you're looking as a shop at your offering and how it kind of lays out, that's really important to note, because if you're cutting off over a third of qualified technicians because they don't want to work weekends, and your position says that, hey, you know what, we need weekends to work, that's a big deal and something that you need to talk to technicians about, right? And some of the comments were really interesting from our insiders as I go to them. One of the people that responded talked about how they usually didn't complain and they didn't necessarily like to work on the weekends, but they did it because they were called upon, right? And so in the back of their mind, they're saying, I don't like working Saturdays or Sundays, but I will if I have to. I'm not necessarily happy about it. And so right there, to me, is an opportunity for an extremely candid conversation. And some of the details that we went through in the comment section, the ones that didn't want to work on the weekends, it was typically because of family, right? They had some family event, some young kids or kids in athletics that they really wanted to make those things, or coach their kids' team, do some of those things. And where I think there might be a little bit of a disconnect between the two is, we'll see a shop that works weekends and really talks about how much they promote a family environment, right? So you'll see a job ad where they're promoting how great their family work environment is and how accommodating they are to family, yet they're requiring people work weekends. So if you take a minute to step back and think about that, if you're a shop out there that's listening to this, take some time to sit down with your people and understand where they sit specifically on this issue. If you're requiring weekends, it's worth it to sit down and understand why somebody might not like doing that. And if they don't like doing it, what can you do to accommodate them without making the rest of the staff mad? You know, I think we as managers sometimes look at it as, well, that's our policy, this is the way that we've got to do it, without really providing a whole lot of flexibility. So if you're able to provide some flexibility, right? I think that's such an important piece, and really understanding why they might not like to work weekends, or maybe why they do like to work weekends. Maybe conversely, we had a lot of comments of people talking about how they liked the extra money. They liked working on weekends because they just really like working. But one comment, I guess, that stuck out over and above everything else was something that talked about the platform of WrenchWay Insiders in general, and I thought it was really, really cool. And this person, who I won't name, it says, when we mute the most talented people in the industry, we are destined for some sort of failure. That is why what you are doing with this platform is so important, and that you and I support the opportunity to speak out. And really what they're saying there is, we want to say some of this stuff to management, but are worried that they're going to hold it against us, right? And that's the whole point of WrenchWay Insiders, is to get that feedback and get some really interesting conversation going. So thank you to the technician that wrote that in there. That's really at the core of what we do, why we're trying to do it, is really get that voice of people that might feel intimidated or maybe that their voice doesn't mean anything, really to get it out there, because your voice really does mean something, and hopefully we're helping promote that. Now, as you all know, I think it's becoming kind of a common theme here, right? We're giving away prizes to reward those of you that are giving feedback, and we're doing that through our WrenchWay Insiders mobile app. We're doing that a little bit differently than what we did before. I mentioned this on last week's WrenchWay Weekly. We're doing the prize through some gamification on the WrenchWay Insiders app. So if you get a chance, go check out the Insiders app. We actually responded to a couple of people online that were like, is this real? Like, is this something that it seems scammy or something like that? And it's truly real. And I think as we're starting to accumulate prize winners, they'll be able to tell you for us that these prizes are real and something that I think is really, really cool. So last week's giveaway was a $100 Amazon gift card, and the winner was Kenny Fruend, F-R-E-U-N-D, Kenny. You had the highest score in higher or lower with a score of 30. Very respectable score. Good work with that. Along with that $100 Amazon gift card, Kenny also got the chance at winning the Queen of Hearts game, which is actually a pot that all of the winners of the the higher lower game get entered into. And he did not get the Queen of Hearts. So that pot actually is increased to $800 right now. So if you win the high-low game and then also win the Queen of Hearts, you'd be walking home with $800 right now. Every week that nobody claims that, the prize goes up. So it's really cool, kind of an exciting way to do that. And so for next week, we just posted some new challenges out there. Go check them out. Go play higher or lower. And really, it's a fun game. And really a way for us to get that feedback and kind of put that into content here. So the prize for next week is a $100 Carhartt gift card. Really nice right now this time of year to get warmed up and use that for maybe a nice Carhartt coat or some hats or whatever you need. So I think I've mentioned this continuously, but the WrenchWay Insider app is invite only. So if you'd like to receive, an invite, you can fill out the form on the WrenchWay website. We'll also put a link in the video or an email. If you email us at info@wrenchway.com, we'll get you that invite. The topic for next week is one where we're really kind of diving into the physical nature of these jobs, right? And so we want to know how many of you have been injured. And so our question for next week is, how many injuries have you experienced working in the shop? We'll give you a few options, but I'm really fascinated to hear this. I think the injuries portion of what we do and some of the danger behind it is some of the concern that we have amongst the technician community. So make sure to go check that out. Love to hear your feedback on it, and really through that WrenchWay Insiders app, you're really able to do that. You'll see that poll listed under the challenges tab. We'll also be putting a link to the survey on social media, so make sure you follow us on WrenchWay on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, right? YouTube's a big one where we put all these WrenchWay Weekly videos out. So if you want to know the results of a poll or you want to know kind of our insights into a specific subject, make sure you go out to YouTube, check that out. And really, thank you to everybody. This is really growing fast and is really cool. And now with the ability for our insiders to be able to invite their friends, they get points for inviting their friends. We see this getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's grown really fast. Can't thank you guys enough. I really appreciate it. Have a great week.